Hi, it's Hazy and welcome to my channel. Today we are making this. Now it's different to my other one. It's again a file folder, but it's different to the other one I made. I'm using tapes on this one. I got some new tape and I thought, yep, I'm going to make that on video, and I've actually got it a way of getting it perfectly straight down the sides, and also this as well, the middle one. So that's an inch tape, that's a 2-inch tape, for example. I managed to get secret pockets. Look. I didn't realize it was going to do that. You'll see it on as I do it. You'll see how that comes about. And also there's a little idea of how to get these. I don't know if it'll work like this. How to get them, you know, like there's something like sort of that moves out sometimes and then you might not be equal here. Well, there's a little idea, and I want to know if anybody else knows about it, because I've never tried it, but I thought about it the other day. So there's that little idea in there as well. Okay, anyway, if you want to grab these papers, what I've designed, they're on Ko-fi, and I'd like to thank Michelle Sharp for showing us how to do these. Michelle Sharp's the Creative Cove. She's a drawing channel. It's really good. Okay, I have got the video linked in the video where I do these. Okay, right, and I'd like to thank you if you give me a thumbs up today. Thank you so much if you do that for me, and anybody who has subscribed to my channel in the past or today, that's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I am really grateful for that, because it does help my channel to grow. Yeah, we've got a little bit of a, hopefully, yeah, it does go actually. You'll see why I've got those. Okay. Yes, it all goes really well. Really pleased, apart from obviously when I make a mistake, I'll just show you what I've done. It's a bit annoying actually, so, but I do make obviously a few little errors, and then I try and correct them on screen. So if you happen to make those errors too, you should know how to do them. Okay, and also I'll show you how to get these straight. Well, apparently hopefully I'll get these nice and straight. Okay then, so without further ado, let's go and I'll show you how to make this. Thank you. Right then, hello. So here we are making a notebook with our papers. I've got these on Ko-fi. This is a square one that I made the other day on video, and the other side is one I made previously. That notebook to the right is my one that I'm using currently. Oh, that's a point. Yeah, I remember something. Right, so I don't know how people make things and give them away straight away. That was one of my things. So amazing, those people who can do that. Right, I sort of have to make a few for myself first. I really do admire people who can give things away that they've made, especially if they've never made it before. That's great. Right, so this is a file folder. I've folded it in half, and I'm because it's UK, I'm doing 8.5 inches. That fits my A4 paper. I'm going to make both my sides 6 inches, but I'm going to make another thing. So my spine's going to be half an inch. So that's my scorer there. So my spine is now half an inch. It already had a fold. I've folded it along the other side, and I could have actually made my pockets equal, but I'm going to make this one at the front smaller than the one at the back. I think that does help to find which one's the front and which one's the back as well, and which way round you need it. But oops, I'm banging my camera there. Not camera, overhead thing. So this is 6. What am I doing here? I'm doing 6 inches, aren't I? I'm doing 6 inches from the spine there. Okay, and I'm folding that up and scoring with the score bit on my score board. And that looks like it's the, wait a minute, I'll tell you in a minute which, but I think that's the front actually. And then I'm going to, yeah, that's the back because that's the bigger pocket. There we go. So, and this takes a little bit of time now to get this right, because I eventually realise what you do. Okay, so I'm sort of like, I'll be using my bone folder in a minute to get those straight, those side bits straight there. Okay, and I'm thinking, is it because of that? This is my logic, you see. No, it's not because of that. They're fine. Look, I noticed the length is fine. If your length isn't fine, and you've got that right angled, the spines at right angles, I notice they're absolutely fine. If you, like that, the right angles like that, and then those two should be 6 inches exactly. Now, I still do it. Look, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing this. Surely it's this that's not correct. In fact, there was a little bit of thing to do with that. So now it's correct, and I've got that the right way around. And so it's still a little bit skew-whiff up that side there. So I'm flattening it out now, and now I'm doing that down the page and holding it steady so it's completely flush to both sides. And this is actually the thing that does the trick finally. Okay, so that's done. So there's you get. So if I fold with the pockets, I've done this similar one before, but I do encounter some different problems. Right, this is that's the back one, and that's the one I use at the front. Okay, my printer was playing up so much. Oh, again, I've got a few things to tell you actually. There's something I've thought of myself, but not been able to do it yet because I've not got any. I'll tell you what that is in a bit. And another thing is, what's the other thing? I can't remember what the first thing was now. Right, okay, so I'm making this 5.5 inches because I want it, because I'm going to put some tape on the edges rather than anything else. I'll show you in a bit what I'm doing. So that goes away, and that's the other thing. Yes, I accidentally match up the inside to the outside, and it's not intentional, but then I decide to do it. So it does take a bit, you know, because my logic isn't perfect. Right, so this is, I'm making that 5 3/4, I think, as well. That's for the back. That's the one I do. That's the one with the circles that I do. That's the prototype to the one today. Yeah, so these are out on video on the 30th of March. So this one I'm making today should be the 1st of April. Yay! Right, that's your front side, sorry. Gluing it down with a glue stick. I was actually waiting for the glue sticks to arrive, and I found one actually today. I found one in the thing downstairs with all my pens. I don't know why. So I could have actually done it a bit earlier. Never mind. Yeah, notorious for leaving lids off glue sticks, but I managed to put that one on last night. And there we go. So this is the and because it's a different paper to the front, it doesn't really matter that it doesn't, you know, I'm not doing exactly the same size, because if you'd got papers exactly the same, you'd need to make sure that they were the same length, and because it can look a bit odd if the designs aren't, but they're totally different papers. That and they're both available on Ko-fi free. Anyway, that's the back I'm doing now, and I'm really pulling down, if you notice, and I'm really pulling that up because sometimes I've noticed I've left it quite loose, and then when it's glued you can't move it down anymore. So if you notice, see, if I don't do that, it would create a little bit of a bulge that I don't really want. Okay, so I'm really pushing it up there. Okay. Oh, I've turned it over. Ah, what have I done? Oh, that was quick. Right, so I've now put the front side on. I didn't know I'd done that. So I'm creating a front. So I've put the front pocket paper on, which is is it the yes. So the one I've used at the back, I'm now put at the front for the front pocket, and the one I've used at the front, I'm now putting at the back for the back pocket. So it doesn't really matter, does it? So that file folder is 8.5 tall, and it's the full length of it, but I bend it at 6 inches, and I've got 1/2 inch spine just to establish that right. And okay, I'm going to cut them in a minute. I don't know whether it could sit on really fast, because I know sometimes somewhere I've got it on really fast. Right, hello, nothing's happening. Hello. What's happening now? Oh, it's because the table was glued. I thought I'd cut this bit out. I must have cut the wrong bit out. Oh dear, what am I like? Yeah, so just put a piece of paper for that bit there to make that, because it doesn't matter about going to the edge, because I'm going to put tape on, as you will see. Yeah, so that's very difficult to do because it's too small. I do actually get a smaller pair of scissors later and add that to the mix and cut those tiny little slivers off. Hopefully I'll show you that. Right, so I'm cutting that completely off. I have bent it over, but I think I prefer that, as long as it's completely glued down. I'm sure it'll be fine. Right, I was trying, look, I printed it on yellow paper. I also printed it on grey paper, which is this one, and I was going to use this, but for some reason I didn't use it, and I think it looks quite nice on the grey paper, better than the yellow. Okay, and then yeah, so there's another grey paper. No, that's white. Is that the white one? Yeah, and then I notice, if you notice, it actually matches. So wow, that actually matches. I wonder if you can make that match. So what do I decide to do? I actually cut it, you know, the top, obviously I want a little bit below the top and a bit above the bottom, because that's the inside. So I'm folding it, see if I can get it that way. For some reason I cannot do the other side. I've got it round the wrong way again, as usual. Right. Right, so this is I'm measuring there with I'm pushing it where the groove is, taking that off. I need to take a little bit off the top as well, only a little bit. Yes, because I'm going to just put it below there, that little edge there, rather than put it right up to the top. So I need to take a little bit off there just to make that below that line. I'm deciding, I think I'll do this by eye rather than, well, that just wants to be below there, so I don't want to be above there, it wants to be below that. There. Okay. And then a little bit above the other one. See, I'm just folding it a little bit above that other one as well. Managed to do this one okay. It's the next one. I will you'll see me get it wrong in a bit. So that's now going to be cut, and I'm going to put that panel hopefully on there, and it will fit just above the bottom and just below the top. So yeah, there. Rather than, otherwise it's going to be difficult. I think I've done it too short of too long. I mean, sorry, it's too long. It's just over the spine. Yep. So, haha. I was so amazed. I wasn't going to do the back pocket the same. I thought, well, no, the back pocket's not going to be able to do the back pocket, but at least I've done the front pocket, panel. And I was thinking, what should I use for the back panel? Because have I got another? Yes, I've got another piece. So my printer is not printing correctly. It's leaving a white line in places. Okay, so this panel is going on there. I'm not gluing quite to the edge so that it's great, you know. Oh yeah, and I've got bits of gloopy bits came off, even though it's a brand new glue. Hey, those gloopy bits, I've just rubbed them down so we don't get them. Yep, checking that is actually level. I'm actually, you know, I thought myself, I'm so proud of that, doing able to actually get that straight. Now I'm going to attempt to do the other side. Now this is not the one I use on the other side. That's fine, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about this one. That is not the one I use, even though I put the glue down, because for some reason I've got it wrong. I don't know how. I get it wrong. Something in my logic, I'm getting the gloopy bits off, is not correct. So I get this fine. Look, just a little, making the panel just above the bottom line there, but it's not going to fit. I'd have to move it right up or something. Even though I'm thinking to myself, I'm not bothered about it not fitting. Watch, I'm going to rip it off in a minute. I think it's this one I rip off. Order. Yep, ripping off, getting another piece. And I've done exactly the same thing, but now I've found out that I couldn't do it properly. I've just cut the top off instead, because you don't want it above that line, otherwise it's gonna lift up somewhere along the line. So I've just made it into a panel. I'm just making sure this bit's glued down because it's going to be inside the pocket. Okay, so that needs to be glued right down, as you do. There we go. So that's now glued down. Look at that. Yep, all done, all glued down. Yeah, I'm getting some powder on just because I've got glue all over that side because I kept using that flap. Okay, well yeah, there's a bit of another incident nearly in a minute. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right then, so there you can yeah, you can see that. So I don't want to put it at the top or the bottom, the powder, because obviously I'm going to glue that eventually. Right, I don't know which bit I'm doing now. I think, oh yeah, I'm doing this. Yeah, this is the exciting bit because this is my new tape. This is inch tape, so it's like 2.5 centimeters. I've decided like to get it. I'm getting there's a line where the fold is. I'm putting the line along that line on the mat there, so that it meets. Yeah, a bit confused about some dotted lines for some reason. And why aren't they the same? So I'm getting that length. I wish I'd put it a little tiny bit longer because it would have been slightly easier, even though it's less waste. But for some reason I think I moved it. Do I move this by accident? Or do I leave it like that? Or did it actually stay? I'm thinking about why is that dotted line? Right, getting it in line again with the line above it. So there's a line going through. I'm not measuring anything. I'm just putting the line above it and line below it. So, see, I not nudged it. Right, and it goes through. So then I can use that line to put down the tape. Then, and I'll decide. No, do I? Is this the one? Decide. I've got it between. I've got. I don't know. Anyway, that's the way of doing it. That's the way I did that, and that is actually almost in the middle. And I'm not going to bend it over because you would create a bulk, and it might be difficult to stick. So I'm cutting that off. Both sides, yeah, I'm cutting it off, and I was thinking, what would you do with those? You wouldn't do anything really, would you? Right, yeah. And now what do I do? Look at it. Look what I do now. see what, can you see my mistake already? Fortunately, I do realise. Shout out, or don't all shout at once, but can you see what it is? And I was just going to get rid of all the stuff because I've got to put some tape down there. I need to get rid of that, don't I? But that is not the point, is it? So what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I? Look, watch this. What am I doing? Watch, watch, watch. And no, 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 no. What am I doing? You should have put it there. There you go. Now that should have gone there, not inside. That would have been a terrible mistake. So I've had to rip it off or something, or even start again, which would be terrible. So that goes there. I've done a little bit longer, which was much more helpful to get it more accurate. I've done the other one accurate too, so I've done a good job. But the thing is, you've got them chunky bits now to pull off, which is a bit annoying. It was a bit more helpful. Okay. So look, that matches that thing. So like an invisible pocket in a way. You've got a nice. Oh yeah, and I do all this with my bone foil. Not that it stays down. That might actually, because it's sticky, slightly sticky still. That one doesn't. Watch it flip up. Whee! So that won't see because it's still got sticky. Yes, cut off any little bits you see. Don't be afraid to cut, little tiny bits you need to. Oh, I'm using my little. I told you I was using my little scissors. I've just had a cup of tea. That's what I'm going to eat for. Sorry about that. Right, there's your little slivers. You see, cut off with these really, really sharp beadative scissors. I don't know where my purple pair's gone or my lilac pair. They've gone. They've vanished. They have gone. Anyway, there's, yeah, see, able to cut off all the little bits I couldn't cut off with the big scissors with those. Yeah, beadative. That's what they are. Right. Okay, I don't know how to actually pronounce it, but it looks like beadative. B-E-A-D-I-T-I-V-E. Right, okay, that's I'm using, I'd like 1.5 inch tape actually. I think would have been absolutely ideal for this, but I've got my 2-inch tape. I can't find the 1.5 inch tape, or 4 centimeters or something like that. Can't find that size, and I wouldn't find it easy cutting it. Yeah, so we need to use this instead. Oh, I'm going to cut, so I'm putting it along the back. I did a mistake with the prototype. When I've got this paper, actually got I did it from the inside and folded it over. It doesn't look right at all. Yeah, that looks a bit, perhaps it looks a bit skewy. Perhaps it looks equal now. Right. So I'm going to make this. You can actually make it so you can fold it all the way around. I've seen Tina from Victoria Designs do it. She'd put the tape all the way around. But I'm going to put it part of the way so it folds over the top, because obviously it won't matter if that folds over the top there. That's absolutely fine. Okay, yes. Yeah, I think I've done this at night. Was I doing this at night? Oh yes, I was, yes, and it's getting darker and darker, so you can see the shadows. It's of the lights in the room. I actually do put the big light on later, but these are the lamps that I use. Okay, so I'm just putting it so it a little bit, I'm using those lines again. I'm putting it so that it just folds over that little bit there, making sure it's folded over. And yeah, just try not to pull it. Try not to pull it to the side. I've noticed I've pulled it a little bit to the side. If you look at that, it's the right side at the top. I've pulled it a little bit to the side, so when I put this on, it's very, very slightly over that side. I know this tape stretches. Okay, so I'm putting a little bit on now to finish that off, and that's inside. So that's the inside of that. So that's going to be the inside of the spine, and it's absolutely fine like this. This is bookbinding tape. The one I've used on the inch one's actually gaffer tape, but it's still exactly the same. I don't want the plastic one, I want the fabric one. So that's what I've used. I'm just folding those lines to make sure I know where they are. It's still quite difficult, but you'll see actually when I put me dots in for when I put my sides and for when I put for the holes. I put the dots in that I'm going to make the holes with. Okay, I'm thinking I'm going to. Oh yeah, I've got a trick later to show you with the paper. I'm really pleased with that actually, what I've thought of, but I don't know if it works, so I would like, if anybody does it, I'd love you to tell me, or if you know of it as well, because I bet somebody else has thought of it, if it's any good. If it is actually logical. Which yeah, I haven't really got a logic, but yeah. Okay, so you can't see that either. See, it's really, you won't be able to see that yellow at all. So that folds all the way in. But the yellow, I think the yellow actually goes quite well with that actually design. I was actually going to use yellow paper, but then I thought nobody's going to like me if I use yellow paper. But you know, I mean, there'll be one or two that love yellow and think I should use it, but most of them will say, why didn't you use a different colour? So I've got different colours. Anyway, I'm putting these on because remember, it's so flippy, it did flip out quite easily, and this should help it glue so it stays glued. Those clips, they're sewing clips actually. Right, now I'm making, what I'm doing is here, I'm going to measure the spine. I know it's like 21.5 centimetres. I don't know what that is in inches, a little bit more than, is it 1.5, is it 8.5 still? I think it probably is actually, isn't it? But I'm just moving it down so it comes up to 21. So I'm putting that at 10.5 centimetres, that at 2 centimetres, and that at 2 centimetres. 2 centimetres is about 3/4 of an inch actually. And then I think I get this a bit too far this way, because I can't really see where the thingy line is, the line of the fold is. So I think I make 3 dots because of that, and I think we'll see that in a minute. Yeah, look, it's too far on the left, so I'll move it in. So I'm just using the ones that's on the 2 ones that's on the right of that, because I've got that too far off the left. Right, yeah, and mention it here. I didn't know I was going to do the voiceover, because what I did the voiceover is because I didn't mention some measurements, and I thought, oh, why didn't I mention the measurements? Now I'm doing, if you noticed, I've cut that completely out, the whole out with this tool. This tool, I would say, one of the most amazing tools. You got something like this or this, just to cut holes out, and so you can see where you're going with through your viewfinder. Okay, and then I've got to get rid of it, get rid of that little bit. Hold on, have I got it the right way? Yes, I have, haven't I? Yeah, I did. Now I'm using the big one for these two, because the big crocodile 2, there it is, on the 1/8 of an inch hole. You can, it's quite good because you can put the thing down before you crop it, sort of thing. You push it, and you can make sure you're in the right place. So I really like that. Have I done the other one, or did I do both? Oh, must have done. There's the paper. It's green, pink, and I think I'm somehow managed to get the green and, is it green and pink on one, all on one signature for some reason. Something happened. Anyway, they are printed mixed, so I've put it in again and printed a load again, sort of thing. So I printed 10 of each. Oh, I'm using 12 of each. Printed 10 of each colour, mixed them up, and then printed 10 of each colour again, so they came out all mixed. just found out which way my printer, well, it's a bit delicate subject at the moment. I don't know if it actually still works. It was working yesterday. Not too bad. It's still, I mean, you won't notice, but there is some white spaces on some of that paper at the front. Just getting 12 of each. I'm just folding it as it is on this. I found out I did it quite well. Folded it all together, just trying to get them all in the corners. And then I'm going to cut it right before I do cut it before I fix it anywhere. Come on, dear, come on, we're taking your time. We are taking our time today, aren't we? Anyway, there's 12 of each. I've got 12 in one signature and 12 in the other one. I can't remember which one I put at the front now. I think that one's the front one. But look, there's a little trick I'm going to do. Right, I'll tell you about it in a minute. Right, so you know, like you need that paper right in there. You want to keep it right in just there. You don't want it any further out. You want to. Have you ever used a hair grip, or Americans call bobby pins? I wonder if they would actually work and keep it there just for the, you know, just for a short while. I mean, that's what I'm using those for, putting them right at the edge so they don't slip. Actually, I'm tapping it again because I'm not satisfied with how flat they were. Flush, rather. So, need to be flush against each other. Again, this one, I think I'll do the same. Doesn't seem completely flush against the thing. Let's say I take it out, tap it because it doesn't seem flush. Put that one right in the corner there. So if you had a bobby pin or a hair grip, you'd see how flat it was against the so that work really well. So it really keep it flat. I haven't got any, so if I knew somebody, I did know somebody used to have them all the time. I mean, she might have left them here, but I don't know where they are. I think I've seen one actually, but I don't know where it is. So I could have demonstrated with that, but I think that would work quite well. Just on that, while we get the papers neat there here, because I'm going to use a knife, and it is good. It is good to use a to do this. If you wanted to do this, I mean, you don't have to do this bit. You can leave them as they are. But I was a bit afraid of doing this up at first. So I'm getting them right in the flush in the corner there. I was a bit afraid of doing this at first. I think, oh, but it's because my knife wasn't sharp. With this knife, this is my light knife. The other one's really heavy, and I've managed to take that off using one of the first blade off using pliers because it was getting a bit dull. Yeah, see, this is. Yep, there we go. And you can get it a little bit closer. You just have to be, I suppose, careful not to push it too hard. You do it quite gently. Don't push it too hard, otherwise you might slip and cut your fingers. No, we don't want that. Right. Same with this one. So I've managed to keep them flush. The bobby pins at this point would be amazing to get those completely. Keep them edges completely together, you know what I mean, if you put them right in the middle there. Okay, but then you'd use clips, as in I'm using now, or you could use paper clips, you know, or bulldog clips. They do. I've used all those. Okay, but I found this quite interesting what I did here. Using the, sorry, I'm gone quiet now. I'm using the sewing clips there. Okay, that's quite good. Right then, so what am I doing? Oh, we're not too far from finishing now, look. So I need to say, oh, I better say, oh dear, I better say what I was going to say actually now, while we're getting this sorted out. Let's just tell you first what I'm doing here. I am making, I have to turn it around because I can't see. I don't know why I've got it that way around anyway, because you can't see either, can you? Yeah, so I'm making little marks there down these two. Actually, it might be better sometimes to stagger the books. I didn't, I just did it above each other. Okay, so just making little marks. Anyway, thanks very much to Jenny from Tennessee. Thanks for making my day with your recent comments, because you were just so bright and cheerful, and it's lovely. It really was. And thanks to you, to my regulars who commented most in my videos, Patricia, May and Beverly. They're the ones that, if you notice, they comment in just about every video. So that's amazing. I really do appreciate that. And anybody else who comments regularly too, because there are a few. There's Marcy, for example, who does. We do. She said hi because I said commented somebody else's video. She said hi, Hazy, right? Hi, and Jennifer's from Tennessee, as is Marcy as well. So, oh, and Patricia May's from Oregon, and Beverly's from British Columbia. So it's all in North America. It's all happening up there, yeah. So all these, I don't know, is anybody from anywhere else? I mean, I have had comments from some of the other places in the world. Right, I'm making holes in these as well, the same as I made in the spine of the. Look, and it doesn't matter if they're not accurate. That's what I'm telling you there. Look, that one at the top slightly to the right, the one at the bottom is actually slightly to the left. So, you know, and it does work. It still works. So don't get fret if you don't get it absolutely accurate. Just try it. Okay, you can always do. There's any paper. You can always do it again if it's really. But it does actually work. So those clips will keep it in place. Okay, so yeah, that's. I mean, Pam, Paper Outpost Pam, she folds them back. I mean, I have done that, but I find it a bit difficult. It seems to make my paper go skew with, so I didn't do it this time. Okay, when you're putting them in, make sure that the holes match up to the way you're doing it, because sometimes you've done them slightly different. I mean, there might be a slight difference between the top and the bottom. You need to make sure your signatures are in between, you know, not over the bottom and not over the top. So look at me putting that back in its sheath. Ooh, look, ooh, I'm actually putting it back in. Can't believe it, you know. I think that's because I've lost my other one. And I'm being really careful. Right, so I'm threading that, and I've done that 3 times as long, the thread 3 times as long. I think I'm putting different one. I think I'm putting the back in first. I don't know. I'm putting the front in first. Is that the front? Making sure that it is actually in the right place. That there's a gap at the bottom and a gap at the top, because then it will. And I think I check in a minute whether I've got the, yeah, I'm just checking whether I've got the holes in the right place, because if you remember, it might be slightly different. In fact, Pam, the Paper Outpost, usually does the middle hole a little bit higher, so that she can tell if she's doing if she's got it at the right place, which is a very good idea. I rarely do that. I should do, really, because sometimes I have got confused. I'm making these equal. I don't know why, but people say make them equal. I think it's because it feels better rather than it's necessary. I'm just leaving those for now. I'm making sure that's folded. That is absolutely flush, and it's also really taut. The string's really taut there. Threading the other one now. Yeah, putting it through the middle. Some people, I don't know why, take the needle out. I don't know what the point is of that. I got enough threading it with the needle once, let alone threading it again. Let's see, put that down all the way down, and in the last one. Okay, so those are equal. They are both the right way round, and making sure that these threads are either side of that middle thread, and tying it over there, so that the knot does not slip through. And I'm quite pulling it quite a lot, not so it bends or anything like that. Not that it will, actually, because it's quite a good strong thing there, and I think we're nearly finished. Oh, we've got about a minute left. So thank you so much for watching, and also thank you so much to anybody who's subscribed to my channel recently. Thank you so much for subscribe today, and thank you to people who have given me a thumbs up. And these papers are available on Ko-fi as well, if you'd like to grab them. The cover papers, these are from Etsy. Not mine. They're not mine, obviously. The lined ones. Obviously, you can do it like, but I thought that'd be nice, quite a nice cover. Okay, and thumbs up. Thank you so much. I'm just giving, that's what I've just said, because obviously I didn't know I was going to do this on. Yeah, and that's matching pockets. There, look at the back, matching the panel, inside panels. Yeah, almost matching papers too. Okay, yeah. And I've nearly finished this one. That's the one I've done recently. Okay then, thank you so much and goodbye.